All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Raw Intuition Health Show. Super excited for today's episode. We're going to get to meet a really awesome guest and talk about an exciting event coming up in 2025 that we hope you guys will be a part of. So today we are going to be speaking with our amazing guest, Chase Beatty. And Chase is co-owner and co-host of the Vegan Wellness Retreat happening August 10th through the 14th next year in 2025 in Sojourn Lakeside Resort in Gaylord, Michigan. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly, but you can get your tickets right now. I got the link to the kind of the landing page and just the website with all the information about the retreat linked down below. So I hope you guys will definitely check that out, and we'll talk a lot more about that, as well as just how to get the most out of your vegan or raw vegan lifestyle. Chase has been a low-fat, salt, oil, and sugar-free raw vegan for over a year and a half now. Before that, he was a whole food plant-based and has been able to not only gain muscle on a raw vegan diet, but also maintain his weight. So he's a great example for anybody out there that's into fitness and wants to just, get the most out of a raw vegan lifestyle and maintain, that athleticism and maintain their weight. So Chase is a dad to two girls and who have also been vegan since birth. And at 34 years old, Chase has better blood work now than in his 20s. So super excited to have Chase on the show. Chase, what's up? Thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me, Matt. Appreciate that great introduction there, and just really happy to be with you today.
Well, thanks so much. Everybody out there, as always with every show, if you stick around to the Q&A, you can definitely ask Chase all your questions about, raw veganism, being an athlete, as well as the retreat or anything else. And if you do, you'll be in the drawing, in the giveaway for one of my books, 5-Star Salad Revolution, 5-Star Digestion, or 21-Day Raw Transformation Program. And so be sure to get your questions in for that. And I look forward to hearing the questions. But yeah, so Chase, at the beginning of every show, we just kind of like to get a little bit of a background on the guest. So if you don't mind, would you just kind of go into what got you into, veganism or raw veganism, and how did that all happen?
Excellent. Yeah. So I'll probably start, I guess, from the beginning of my vegan journey. So it was back in 2017. It was actually my wife and I's first date at the time. We watched a movie called What the Health, and I was already kind of vegan curious at this time. We watched that movie, and it convinced us to at least try it for 30 days, see how it went. So we did that. And at the time, my cholesterol was kind of high. I think I was hovering in the low 200s. It was like around 210. Same with my wife. She was in the low 200s as well. And we just felt a lot better after that initial 30-day period with no meat and that kind of stuff. And so we continued on past that time. After that, we also watched Earthlings, which was a very influential movie as well from the animal side of things. So we had those two documentaries kind of that started it off for us. We did get blood work at the time too, just to kind of see if there was any changes going on. And my cholesterol had dropped by over 100 points.
Wow.
So at that point, I knew that, hey, these changes I was making, getting the cholesterol out of my diet, this was working. Blood pressure was coming down. We're just overall feeling a lot better. So that was kind of where we started on our plant-based journey. It's been about 7 years now. And we, like I said, like you mentioned in the beginning, I transitioned over to raw back in April of 2023. And that was largely by listening to a couple YouTube podcasts with Dr. Doug Graham. He was being interviewed by Rip Esselstyn at the time, and kind of, making that switch over from vegan to raw was for me just kind of taking it up to the next notch and making some switches, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and things just got better from there. I still had a few, I wouldn't say health issues, but a few things that weren't perfect on a whole food plant-based diet, and those got better from there. So that was kind of the genesis of our vegan journey. And we've always kind of noticed that the community, especially in the whole food plant-based or the raw community, was lacking events and areas to connect with like-minded folks, which is why we've started the vegan wellness retreat. We had our first retreat this past June in Miami. It was a big hit, a lot of fun. We had a great turnout. Um, and it's just a great way for community of like-minded people to come together. And next year in Gaylord, we've already had a ton of interest come in. I think we've got 5 rooms out of 20 still left.
Nice.
So at that venue, there's going to be a lot to do, and we're really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. Here, let me. Could everybody just make sure, or just let me know in the chat if the audio is working well? Just want to make sure there, but I think it is. Everything looks good on my end. Yeah, that's an amazing transformation that you shared. I'm so glad that you did the blood work, when you started the journey. I wish I would have done that myself, because I didn't get my blood. I never got my blood work done until I was like 7 years into this lifestyle. And I'm not that I know of, I didn't get it done any time before that, at least in my adult life. So yeah, I wish I would have been able to kind of see the transformation that happened with me as well. But yeah, it's amazing how your body, responded to whole food plant-based nutrition and just a healthy lifestyle. And would you say that you like athletic and into sports before you switched over, and did you see any changes with that as well?
So I was in basically my mid to upper 20s at the time that I switched over to vegan. Wasn't doing a ton of like organized sports or anything like that at that time. Um, but I would say like my workouts in the gym, I just noticed that the recovery was so much faster than before.
Yeah.
So just by making those simple swaps, that was one of the first changes that I noticed.
Nice. Yeah, I experienced the exact same thing. Um,
And I
what?
kind of thought it'd be the opposite, going
Yeah.
into the old stereotype of, you know, you're going to be low on protein, you're going to feel like you're keeling over. It was just the opposite.
Yep.
So, just kind of putting those to the side and putting a little faith into it and giving it a shot, I found very beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. I was the same way, and my friends all warned me, like, you're not going to get enough protein. Like, you can't get protein from plants.
Yep.
So it was nice to get a little, put that back in their face a little bit at the end, or after a few years. Then they started coming back to me and asking for some advice. So
Yep. And I
yeah,
was a skeptic before trying it too. I
yeah,
was right there with everybody else. But I guess you don't know until you do give something a try. So
yeah. Great point. All right. Well, thank you so much. And thank you, everybody, for being here. Mallory, Sherry, Carl, Annie, Maria. Great to see everybody here. And again, keep your questions ready for the Q&A at the end, and we'd be happy to get to some of those. So, yeah, the topic discussion for today is how to get the most out of your vegan or raw vegan lifestyle. Do you want to start us off with kind of the first thing that you have found to be helpful in making getting the most out of this lifestyle?
sure, yeah. I'll basically start everybody off with just kind of going over my observations with me from switching from whole food plant-based over to raw. Um, when I was whole food plant-based, the health benefits were tremendous. Like I said, my cholesterol lowered, I was feeling great, etc. But I still did notice a little bit of like gas and bloating. And I did still occasionally have like some like acne and that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So I did notice that when I switched over to raw from whole food plant-based, that those things started going away. The gas was going away. That was completely gone. Um, as far as the complexion, that was much, much better. So those are the two really big things for me, just by making those simple swaps. I was already pretty close in that I was, eliminating salt, oil, and sugar and eating SOS-free whole food plant-based diet. Um, but I would say I was probably at the time maybe 80% cooked. So just switching that over to raw for me made quite a bit of difference.
Nice. Love it. Yeah. And you look super healthy, and it's clearly working for you. So, yeah, you're a great example for the power of getting in more raw fruits and vegetables, and going to whole food plant-based nutrition. So yeah, I also noticed I used to have acne and dry skin, eczema, all these different things that once I got, and these are asthma as well. I used to think that these were just going to be things that I lived with, for my whole life. That's basically what I was told was going to happen. And it was amazing. Like, it wasn't anything I was even expecting, and all of a sudden I just realized, like, wow, I can breathe easier. I'm not wheezing. My skin is clearing up. It's like glowing compared to what it used to do. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. And how quickly do you remember, like, how quickly you started noticing some of these changes?
I mean, after watching the information in that YouTube video, I switched over that next day. So I would say by 2 weeks in, I could already start to feel it.
Wow.
Just the difference in digestion and stuff like that. So it was pretty apparent right away. Although I was still a little skeptical, kind of just like when I went vegan, is it going to change that much? But then as I kept going, things just kept getting better and better and easier. So,
Nice.
and we can talk about kind of later, as far as like maintaining weight and that kind of stuff, kind of
Yep.
strategy that I used as well.
Awesome. Okay, well, perfect. So the first thing that I came up with, that I thought might be helpful for people was just to, focus on what you're gaining, and the potential benefits, than focusing on what you're giving up. Because I
Yeah.
see a lot of people having that issue where they're reluctant to give up some of these things that they've grown up loving, pizza, burgers, going out to the bars, whatever it is, different lifestyle habits that they have. And they're scared to give it up because they're going to be different now from their friends, and all these other, things in their life is going to change. But what I have found helpful, and what I've noticed helps other people as well, is really focusing on the benefits, because a lot of times there's going to be benefits that we expect, that we can look forward to, and that we can strive towards. But there's also going to be so many benefits that you have no idea you're going to experience. So I think keeping your mind open to focusing on the maybe obvious benefits that you could get: clearer skin, better energy, better sleep, a more fit body, a healthier body weight, all these different things. But then also realizing that there's so many things that you could benefit, or that you could gain, that you're not even, it's not even on your radar. Like, for me personally, like, one, my spirituality completely came out of nowhere. Like, it was really almost non-existent prior to getting into this lifestyle. And then once I started clearing out all the junk in my body, my brain started working better, my gut started working better, and I just naturally became more driven, or more drawn to exploring and better understanding my spiritual health and my spiritual life. So that's one thing that there was zero expectation for when I started. And like you said, I didn't even realize that it was going to affect my athletic performance the way that it did. I've been a golfer my whole life. Actually, my golf game suffered the first in the beginning. It did suffer because I lost weight and I wasn't hitting the ball as far, and it just my swing wasn't clicking. But after like a reacclimation period now, and I don't golf nearly as much as I used to, but my golf game is as good as it's better than it's ever been. And I really attribute that to my diet and lifestyle, because I'm just so much clearer minded. I'm better at focusing, and yeah, I don't know, but and just other things too. My coordination, I've always been decently coordinated, but I just feel like my coordination, my anticipation, everything, just all my senses have elevated. So, that wasn't anything that I was expecting to happen.
That's a great point there, though, because I think a lot of times people focus on, oh, I can't have this, I can't have that.
Yeah,
Focus on the benefits of what you're getting. By giving up the processed foods, you're getting better mental health. You're getting better mental clarity. You're able to, do the stuff that you want to do more.
yep,
Obviously, nobody's going to live forever, but while you're here, you might as well get the best quality of life that you can.
yes,
Uh, and that, by eliminating the processed foods, the animal products right there, that's a big step up. So I think sometimes it's hard for people to imagine their life without all of the things that's in it right now.
yeah,
But if you just focus on your future and where you want to go, I generally think it's easier to go right from A to B. Some people will go, a different route and do it another way. But any way that you get there and you're incorporating more fruits and vegetables, your health is going to just level up and improve.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and I think one of the best benefits also
Mhm.
is health freedom. Like, understanding the power that you have in controlling your health outcomes. Whereas I think a lot of people think that their genetics or some other outside factor is like the main influence on what they're going to experience long term with their health. But it's just not the case. We have more power than a lot of us realize, and so living this lifestyle has really taught me that, is that I have so much control over so much of my health outcomes. So of course it's not going to be perfect for everything, but it's much more prominent than a lot of people think. So
Great point there on controlling the health outcomes. Obviously we have the ability to kind of, not control, but change our genetic outcome
right.
based on inputs that are coming in. And so that was put largely on display in that new movie. I don't know if you saw it, Matt, that came out with the set of twins, the Harvard experiment there.
Yeah,
Um,
I haven't seen it, but I've heard so much about it. It's on my
it was
list of
pretty
things to
good.
watch.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So they got identical DNA and had quite vastly different results on that.
Nice.
Yep.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, what do you got next for us on your list?
Um, I would say I could touch on a little bit of maybe kind of what I eat in a day next, if
Yeah,
that would help.
that'd be awesome.
Um, so I guess before switching over to raw, I always thought as fruit as maybe just like a snack,
Yep.
never would think of it as a meal. Didn't really know how many calories were in fruits, that kind of thing either. I would say by calories, I'm probably 90% of my calories are coming from fruit. So I am heavily fruit based. I do obviously include greens, salad, nuts, and seeds as well. Um, but just to give you an example, like one whole watermelon, that's got about 1,300 and change calories in it. So things like that, kind of knowing your calorie density, I think is big when you're making the transition over to raw, because you actually have to eat so much more quantity to get the calories when you are eating this way. So I think that's a big pitfall that people make, is not eating enough. If you don't eat enough, especially in the beginning of transitioning over to raw, you're going to have cravings and you're going to fall off the wagon. I've seen that time and time again. So I would say eating enough is key. it would be very, very, very difficult coming off of whatever diet you're following, switching over to raw and starting to just gain weight rapidly. I think it'd be very difficult right in the beginning. But to give you an idea of like what a typical day could be for me, I would start my day off like with a juicy fruit, might be a half of a watermelon, and then like a thing of grapes that might come out to roughly 800 to 1,000 calories, somewhere in there. And then for lunch, lunch might be 8 to 10 bananas on a typical day, maybe some peaches as well. And then for dinner, that is normally where I'll have a big fruit meal again. So it could be any kind of fruit that's in season. And then I'll have usually a massive salad of greens, all different kinds. Sometimes my wife will make some guac for the salad. Other times we'll switch it up at dinner and maybe we'll do like burgers, raw vegan burgers, or we'll do raw vegan nachos. We do use the dehydrator sometimes as well. I think that's a great transitional tool when you're first coming over to raw, because you can make a lot of creative dishes that still have some warmth to them and kind of remind you of those old cooked dishes that you used to enjoy. So I know in our household for our kids and my wife, we do use that dehydrator quite a bit. And it's nice to be able to still make fun creations and fun things in there. So that we usually use later in the day. But of course, we do banana ice cream and all kinds of stuff like that to keep it really fun for the kids. There's all kinds of recipes out there. If you look at raw Christina's stuff, she's got a lot of, really fun cupcake ideas and that kind of thing. And there's definitely a lot of information out there. I think, for me, when I first transitioned over to raw, I kind of went the simple route and tried to kind of keep it as basic as I could when I was first trying it out. But like even at the retreat that we're going to have, there'll always be a mono fruit option, but there is going to be at dinner time, there's always going to be like a more gourmet option. Like we're going to have a nacho night. There'll be a burger night. So, some of those old familiar tastes will be there. And it's really quite fantastic with some good spices and stuff like that, what you can put together as far as raw dishes go.
Yeah,
So it's not just you're not just sitting there eating leaves all day long.
right, right. Yeah, no,
Contrary to popular belief.
for sure, for sure. I've definitely been accused of just being a leaf eater. So yeah, it's good to hear that you're going to be having all these different options for people, and
Yep.
it's 100% organic, 100%
Yep.
raw, appeal free. So
Yep.
I'm so excited about the food that's going to be there.
Awesome.
And yeah, I mean, so do you do smoothies or anything like that?
I do smoothies as well.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
surprised I didn't mention there. But yeah, I'll do a smoothie, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 days of the week. We have a vacuum blender smoothie that we really like to use.
Cool.
But really any smoothie blender will do, Vitamix or any of those. But with that, it's nice because you can throw in a ton of calories pretty quickly in there.
Yep.
So if you have frozen bananas or just fresh bananas, you can throw them in a smoothie and really get to, like for me, I'm trying to get pretty much like as many calories in as I can. So, for me, I'll throw quite a bit of bananas in there, and I'll always put some greens in there too. It's a great vehicle to get more greens in your diet.
Yeah.
I think a well-rounded approach on a raw vegan diet with fruit-based, lots of greens, and including some nuts and seeds to kind of keep that omega-6 to 3 ratio in a good balance, I think is important. And another thing I wanted to mention too is, you can always go by if you're feeling pretty good, but I think it gives the diet just a little bit more validation when you also test, not guess. So getting that blood work done, going and getting like your body fat analyzed, going and getting kind of the biomarkers, the basic biomarkers down, that just gives a little bit more credence to what you're doing. And if people from the outside are saying, hey, that's way too much sugar, you can give them your hemoglobin A1C, or you
Yep.
can give them fasting blood glucose, and then they'll say, oh, it's better than mine.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of these misconceptions out there and a lot of stuff on the internet where it throws people way off, and nobody wants to change, what they're doing, if they're just dead set against it.
Yeah. Yeah. So many great points that you just made there. And we have a very similar approach to our diet and just this lifestyle in general.
Yep.
I agree. Putting greens in the smoothie, I think, is really important, and just overall getting a good amount of greens into the diet. In addition to a good amount of fruit as well to get your calories. And yeah, like you said, having that blood work is so powerful for just for that situation that you mentioned.
Yep.
You can show them exactly what your numbers are. Do you mind sharing? Do you know what your A1C was the last time that you had it checked?
I think it was 5.0 the last
Okay,
time I checked. So yeah,
nice.
it was better than before I went vegan. So
Yep,
before I went vegan, when I thought I was eating low carb, I think my A1C was like 5.3 or 5.4. So that's
yeah,
reduced.
yep,
Um, Something that most people would say, oh, that your blood sugar has to be terrible with all that sugar.
yep.
And I say, nope, it's actually better than it was before.
Right. Same here. And again, I wish I would have tested before I got in this lifestyle, because I'm sure mine was mid 5.5 or around there.
Yep.
The first time I had it checked, mine was 4.9, and then the last time I
Okay.
had it checked, it was 5.1. So yeah,
Right on the bullseye.
yep, exactly. We're both eating a lot of fruit, a lot of
Yep.
so-called sugar, as a lot of people like to just label it. But yeah, perfect blood results and an A1C. So clearly, it's working. And there's a lot of examples out there. We got Robbie and Cyrus of Mastering Diabetes that are showing this as well with all their clients and with themselves. So um, hopefully the fruit equals sugar conversation starts to shift a little more in the correct side of how that works. But yeah,
Yeah,
glad that you're
it
able to
still
show that.
seems to be a pretty prominent thing out there that I'm hearing.
Yeah,
But the difference is with fruit, obviously it comes with a package. It's got fiber, it's got vitamin C, it's got phytonutrients. It's a whole package when it's coming in, right?
yep,
Um, Refined sugar, obviously, that's a little bit different. You don't have any fiber bound to it. So
right,
that's more of a processed food. But as far as nature bringing the whole fruit in, there's nobody that's on the west wing of the hospital right now that's in there because of too much fruit. So
right,
I think these myths out there, they've got to be put to rest, because you can either get your calories from greens or fruits. If you get them from greens, you'd have to have enough greens that would fill that whole room you're in, and probably more, to get
right.
enough calories for the day. So obviously, we have color vision, everything else to select fruit, and it is calorie dense enough where we can easily get enough calories on fruit being the majority. So that's kind of my stance on it.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay. Well, I mean, we could have a whole show on just that topic alone, but I'm going to throw in my next one, which is don't make food your only source of pleasure. Because I think people run into this, and I did as well early on. I just got so focused on the food. That was like my main source of pleasure, which is understandable. I understand why people can fall into that, because I mean, we're shifting into a lifestyle that, it does exclude us from a lot of the activities that we used to enjoy. At least it did for me. I stopped going out to the bars. I stopped drinking alcohol. I even stopped wanting to watch like the movies that I used to watch, like horror and just like thriller movies. And I kind of got away from that. I'll watch them here and there, but not really horror though. Like I'll watch some adventure movies, but I'm not really big into movies anymore in general. I would rather be out, hiking or just at the beach or riding a bike or something like that.
Yeah.
So so your interests will change And so it's important that, you don't just, when you're changing and kind of figuring out what you do and don't want to include in your life going forward, um, utilizing other aspects of the lifestyle, such as exercise, such as nature, maybe camping, or, I mean, even playing music, or, joining some sort of social club, something, maybe dance, or I don't know, whatever you enjoy, whatever you're passionate about. Use the food to fuel you in those other activities so that you're getting pleasure from a wide variety of sources. Because when you only get pleasure from the food, and that's like the only thing that you enjoy doing, is just, and I guess if you really do get like if you really fill your cup with the food, then hey, more power to you. But I think it's for long-term success and happiness and fulfillment. I think having other aspects that we can connect with other people on, because we're not going to always be able to connect with the people that we love or people that we want to connect with just through food, because a lot of people aren't going to be into this like we are. So using sports or music or nature, something like that, to connect with, your passions, but also connect with other people that you want in your life, I think is important. So that's what I would say.
I totally agree with that too. And as Alan Goldhammer said in his book, The Pleasure Trap, we are pleasure-seeking creatures. So we're gonna seek out the pleasures of life. I think when you're transitioning, though, you're exactly right. Is you don't necessarily want to be shouting it to all your friends and family, because that's going to backfire, and they really want nothing to do with it. In fact, they think you're probably harming yourself,
Right.
which is where the blood work and other things can come in.
Yep.
So you can show them that. But that's very true. Is it does help to have other interests outside of food, and yeah, food is a part of a big part of your life, but you're able to do all of the other things because of the really good fuel you're putting in your body. So, focus on the other things, on the activities and the other outside things outside of food, I think is really good advice there.
Yeah, thanks. Extropian Transhuman said horror movies got to show how bad eating animals is. That's a great point. I think that's the last horror movie that I watched was Earthlings.
Oh
You
yeah, that
know,
was intense. Yeah.
yeah. So that's, I mean, that was kind of my catalyst into ethical veganism, where
Yep.
I had no idea that those things were going on to,
Neither did I.
yeah. So that was huge for me, and I would say that's the number one horror film that I would recommend to everybody out there that they watch. Even once a year. I think it's important to remind ourselves of
Yes.
the reality of these things. So yeah,
My wife and I still do watch that, once every couple of years, just to remind, because
that's awesome.
it's pretty powerful.
Yes, it is. All right. Well, you got one more for us?
Yeah, I would say, as far as far as one thing I think you can do right away that would definitely benefit your health, is working on getting the salt, oil, and sugar out. I do see a lot of times when people do make the transition over to like a vegan or raw vegan, they are including like a ton of fat at the beginning. Um, and a lot of that comes in the form of like processed oils and stuff like that. So if you are able to eliminate that, that'll go quite a big way into optimizing your omega-6 to 3 ratio, which obviously has been shown important for brain health, cognitive function, etc. So I think just getting just getting it to whole foods. If you're just able to switch to whole foods, that's gonna really, give you a big step in the right direction. So out of those three, I'd say probably salt is the most difficult for people to give up is the salt, because salt is in everything. People are convinced that you have to have salt to live. It is true. It's a very, very important mineral, but it is found in whole foods. For example, celery, greens, that kind of thing. So whole foods have all the sodium that you need. Um, and we have a big problem in this country with hypertension, It's also linked to stomach cancer and other things. So I think the salt is one of the last things to go when people are really cleaning up that diet. Um, and I know The Pleasure Trap was a big book for me in that with Alan Goldhammer, just kind of recognizing how to do that. But those are kind of like the big three things. If you can get those out, you're well on your way.
Yeah, great points. And I don't know that a lot of people are able to distinguish between sodium and uh, and salt. They think
Yeah.
that you have to add salt to your diet, but sodium is in all these plant foods. So
Yep.
yeah, great point. And and one thing that I have learned kind of recently is I follow an account on Instagram called Lead Safe Mama, and
Uh-huh.
she sends in different food items to a lab to be tested for toxicants like lead, mercury, arsenic, and cadmium.
Uh-huh.
And a lot of the salt that she sends in, she says, well, she's shown the results, and they're high in a lot of these things like lead and cadmium and things like this. So, that's another reason to consider. There is one salt that she has shown that didn't have any detectable levels, which was this Jacobson salt. But
Okay.
so if anybody out there does use salt, I would recommend maybe looking into that Jacobson salt. I think it's out of Oregon or something like that. They get it. I'm not exactly sure, but I also got away from salt, oil, and sugar. And the Pleasure Trap was a big influence on me as well. So yeah, agreed.
We got a lot of commonalities here, Matt.
We do. Yeah, we have a very similar path. So,
Yeah.
and like you said, especially if you're going to be using, if you want your blood work to be the most powerful tool for you to influence others with, getting the salt, oil, and sugar is only going to benefit those lab results. You get the oil out, especially to better your A1C and better your blood sugar levels, because that extra fat is going to slow things down, potentially cause some insulin resistance and things like this. So getting that out, and like Chase said, the salt, which is probably the most difficult for people, understanding maybe the toxicity could help push you away from that a little bit. So some of those toxicants that are contaminating that salt, or a lot of salts out there, and then also understanding that salt is a stimulating factor that can get you to have more cravings, overeat, things like this. So it's not serving your highest health goals, I wouldn't say, but in the context of a whole food plant-based diet, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables,
Yep.
if somebody does include a little bit of salt, I don't get too worried about it. But
Agreed.
for the most part, I think it's good though to eliminate it completely for a while, just so you can see what it's like. And then if you want to add it back in a little bit, you can see the effects, because once your palate kind of balances out and you add it back in, I think you might not enjoy it as much as you used to. So
Couple things I'll mention there real quick too,
yeah,
Matt, is I would say the taste buds kind of have a reset period. And it's maybe 30, maybe 60 days, especially if you're used to a lot of salt. But you'll find that you'll actually be able to taste the subtle flavors in food a lot more
yep,
with just giving it up 100%. The other thing is the microplastics that have been found in the salt. There's a
right.
ton of those, almost in every single thing that they've tested. So those concern me as well. One thing we are looking at about possibly having at the table, not in the food, but at the table at the Vegan Wellness Retreat, is a product called green salt.
Mm,
I don't know if anybody's heard of that. You can basically go to their website and look them up, but it isn't a salt. It's a plant that's basically been dehydrated with solar power. So they dehydrate it under 118 degrees, and it's a whole food plant. It's the Salicornia plant.
mm,
Um, and its sodium content, I think for a 1 teaspoon, it's like 500 milligrams. Whereas if you did 1 teaspoon of regular salt, you'd have about 2,300. So that's another example, is everybody's blowing over the recommended 1,500 milligrams a day just by
Okay.
adding any salt, really.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's something that we're looking into, and kind of has that umami flavor. So we might have that at the event.
Okay.
Just something for the folks at home maybe to take a look at, maybe a healthy alternative.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I wasn't aware of this green salt, so
Yeah,
I'll look into that. Thank you.
yeah,
Cool.
yep.
Okay. Let's see. Um, I think so. I'll just throw out my last one, and it's just
Okay.
kind of a segue into talking more about the retreat. And
Yes.
just the last thing I would say is learn from people that have been successful with whatever you're trying to do. But if you want to learn how to eat a healthy, whole food, plant based, raw, or I think high raw diet is what people will be teaching there. Is that correct?
So really at the retreat, we'll be going for the bullseye as far as education goes,
Okay.
on a raw program. However, to come to this retreat, we have all kinds of folks coming to this retreat. Some that are vegan curious, some that are just vegan. We have some that are raw as well. But we're welcoming anybody that's open to living a healthier lifestyle. And that's really what we're trying to encourage. And our presenters there are going to be top notch. Of course, Matt will be there. He's actually going to be interviewing Dr. Douglas Graham, who has been in raw foods for over 40 years. He's now in his 70s and he's a competitive deadlifter. He's winning his age group at 40 years of fruits and vegetables. To me, the proof is in the pudding right there. Being able to do those activities at that age. So yeah, there's going to be all kinds of people there. You don't have to be raw to attend, but I think in general, most of the people that are attending are health curious, and that's the main thing I think is people that want to learn more.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm so excited to get to interview Dr. Graham. He was a big influence on me early on as well. That his book 80-10-10
Yep.
was very helpful for me. Just learning the lifestyle, getting confident in what it can provide. So yeah, learning from these people like Dr. Graham, and so many everybody else that's going to be there is going to have some great insights and just education to help you on your journey to succeeding and becoming the healthiest version of yourself that you can. So I'm so excited. I'm going to get to meet so many people for the first time there because this will be my first in-person retreat. So I'm looking forward to it.
And like I was saying earlier, you can do a lot of things online. There's a lot of great information online, a lot of great communities, but having that in-person connection, forming new friendships that could potentially be lifelong. We're going to have a group of about 200 people this year in 2025.
Wow.
It's going to be probably the biggest raw food retreat in the world. So, if you're at all curious, we do offer payment plans as well with no interest. So, um, if you're at all curious and wanting to kind of expand your horizons and be a part of a great community, we would love to have you attend our retreat as well.
Yeah. Do you have a list in front of you of who the presenters will be?
I do. And one thing I wanted to mention really quick is we were talking earlier about kind of getting creative in the kitchen with raw food. And this year we do have one guest that's particularly creative in the kitchen. I actually, it's a two guests technically. It's Lissa and Nate from Raw Food Romance.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if your listeners are familiar with them or not,
Oh yeah.
but they have a lot of passion behind what they do. They have a rainbow of beautiful colors in their dishes, and she's going to have a couple food demos at the retreat. They're also going to have a couple talks as well. So Nate and Lissa will be there, and we're very excited for that. Her signature wraps will be there to taste test as well.
Awesome.
So I think that'll be a big hit.
Yeah.
Um, I can go through the list here with you. We also
Sure.
have Juicing Jules. She was at our last retreat. She has quite a big following online, and she's been doing a raw vegan lifestyle, I think, for almost a decade now. So she gives out a lot of great information. Um, we also have Coach Rob, who's going to be kind of our MC. He was at the event last year, so
Nice.
he'll be introducing everybody there. Of course, Dr. Douglas Graham, like I mentioned earlier, he's been doing Raw for over 4 decades now. So he's kind of a pioneer in the
Yeah.
Raw movement. Misfit Vegan will be there as well. We're very excited about that. This will
Yeah.
be Jeanette's first year. And I think Misfit Vegan, don't you, Matt?
Yeah. Yeah. Very well.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Looking
we're
forward to
definitely excited.
meeting her in person.
Yep, yep. So that's gonna be great. I'd say, as far as somebody giving the facts out straight, she's a straight shooter and she calls it like she sees it,
Yep.
which is excellent. I think she's made a lot of raw vegans out there. So
Yeah.
um, very excited to have her and meet her in person. Um, let me see if I've got my full list here. There's a couple more. Just give me 1 second.
I know Karen Ramsey will be there. Is that
Yes, that's
Karen?
correct.
Yeah.
Karen Ramsey will be there for the first time this year. We're very excited about that. She's also been doing Raw for over 2 decades. Um, so we're excited about that. She's going to be um, especially focused on kind of the kid component.
Okay.
She wrote the book Raising Healthy Children. She's raised 2 kids raw vegan. So we're very excited about that. My wife and I have 2 small ones as well.
Nice.
And they're both on the program as well. So it'll be great to kind of build the kid base up.
Yeah.
We're anticipating about 40 to 50 kids, and that's another nice thing is at the
Wow.
retreat, childcare is included. So
Amazing.
we're going to have childcare on site so the parents can enjoy the talks. The kids can get to know other kids and kind of grow the community that way. So
That's awesome.
that's going to be something that's nice. Last year we had that, and I think the parents really enjoyed that. Another couple speakers that'll be there, Mike and Denise Young. They run a plantbaseddiet.org. And they also have a raw vegan cruise line. It's raw vegan, and they have some whole food plant-based options as well. So this is their second year for the cruise line. But they've also, kind of been pioneers in the vegan space as well. They've been at it for over a decade now. So we're very excited to have them give a talk as well. And then we're going to have Dr. Natalie Hareen and Lee Hareen. It's a husband and wife chiropractors that'll be on site doing spinal flow. They were there last year, and the event participants absolutely love them. So one other thing that is kind of unique is there will be a massage day
Hmm.
where there'll be massage people that'll be on site. Everybody will get basically unlimited massages for that time.
Wow.
So, yep, my wife Sarah's got that all set up. So that'll be something that'll be really nice,
Yeah.
buddy, as well. And then Ellen Livingston will also be there. She was a guest at our event last year. She's been in natural health, raw vegan for over 20 years as well. So, as far as the number of years, we're probably up over 100 years as far as the combined raw vegan experience with this group.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot of fruits and vegetables have been consumed by our teachers. I think Doug touts that he's currently had the most fruits and vegetables of anybody currently alive.
I believe it. I believe it.
So and we also have Erica Lucas. She's going to be focusing on kind of the essential oils end of it. She did a great job last year helping people kind of show the quality that she brings with her essential oils and just teaching them about what the different uses are for them. So I think that rounds it out so far. That is our lineup.
Amazing.
So yeah, it's gonna be definitely a loaded lineup, and I think it's gonna be something that is gonna be a very unique experience to bring everybody together. So
Definitely.
we're definitely very excited for it. And if you are interested in learning more about it, you can go to veganwellnessretreats.com. That's with an S, retreats. And like I was saying earlier to Matt, we have 5 rooms still available out of 20. We do have a lot of space still to tent camp. And there are options to stay off site as well. We work with a couple hotels in the area. So we've got those listed on there. So if you did want to stay off site and just come for the day, we have an option for that as well. So,
Cool.
yep.
Awesome. And I will throw in there, I do have a code that people can use, Matt $100 if you want to get $100 off your ticket. That's there for you to use as well. So, do you also want to share a little bit of? I know there's on the website. There's a list of like all these different activities that are going to be there. You did just cover several of them, but is
Yes.
there any additional things that'll be available to
So
people?
just to give a quick overview of that, so we are going to have a pontoon boat on site. There's going to be a boat captain taking people out. So that'll all be kind of scheduled and coordinated. That we are right on the beach. It's a 30-acre property. So we're going to have that. And then there's going to be pontoon kayaks. There's going to be other water activities that are kind of right on the beach there. We're going to have yoga as well. So there'll be morning yoga for folks to do. There'll be a morning workout with Dr. Graham every morning. So if you're feeling strong and you want to, test your courage in the morning, he'll be up bright and early, and we'll have that going. And then, of course, like we were saying earlier, the food is going to be top notch. We have Dr. Doug Graham's personal chef, Chef Shari. She'll be back this year again. She did the food last year. That's one thing you can see on our website as well. If you cruise through there, you can see like the taco night and other things that we did last year. So the food is going to be top notch. We're going to have some more gourmet dishes and that kind of thing. And of course, we'll have unlimited tropical fruit at all hours of the day. It's going to be banana cinnamon rolls. I'm sure those will be everybody's favorite by the end of the retreat. But it will be, an unlimited supply. So you're not going to leave here hungry. There'll always be something to grab. So definitely really looking forward to it.
Terrific. All right. Well, yeah, again, I'm just so excited to be a part of it and to experience, the community, get to meet new friends, connections, and yeah, just have an amazing time. Every event like this, so I've taken some certification courses where I've gone down like into Florida and Atlanta, and both of those experiences were, some once in a lifetime experiences in my opinion, things that I'll remember for the rest of my life. And I expect this to be that and more. So I'm so excited. And especially because those events, I kind of knew some people that were going to be at those events, but this one is different. I'm going to meet some people that I've been, closely connected to over the internet for many years now. And I'll finally get to meet some of these people in person, and a lot of people that I don't know. And so I'm just so excited for that, and I'm excited to do the activities and all that stuff. So thank you for putting it on. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And another thing is at mealtime, the speakers will be right there with the guests. So
Right.
speakers will be right in the mealtime area, mingling with the guests. Um, I guess I want to say lastly, I think one reason why I think this event is so great is because we all know it is kind of can be a struggle with family and friends in modern life. And, it just brings together a like-minded tribe that you don't feel judged when you go up and have your meal and stuff like that. So like Matt mentioned, you will make lifelong memories at an event like this. And everybody is kind of like a big family there.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, well, everybody, again, the link is in my description box of this video, so go check out the website, look it over, and we hope to see you there. Before we get into the Q&A here to answer a few of your questions, let's see, one
more thing I'm going to throw out, Matt, just
yeah.
before the Q&A, and
All
then
right.
we'll get that going.
Yep.
A couple things that I missed as far as the activities, just so everybody's clear on those activities.
Yeah.
We've got the sunrise yoga. We've got the Pilates, and that's going to be with Barbara. She was at our last event, and she is like a Pilates expert, so that is going to be phenomenal.
Nice.
There'll be spinal flow meditations as well in a private area, and then there's going to be breath work. um, and soundboard as well. Sound bowl. Sorry about that. Sound bowl meditations.
Okay,
So
sweet.
there's going to be some relaxing activities as well.
Awesome.
Yep.
Okay. Well, even more reason to be excited, everybody. Something there for everybody. So,
Yes.
you're not going to miss out on an enjoyable time if you go. So, we hope to see you there and get to connect with you and make some new friends. So, okay. And then before we get into the Q&A, so the best place to learn about this would be the website and then the Instagram and Facebook pages. Is that right?
Yep. You can find us on Instagram as well, at Vegan Wellness Retreat. And if you go to our website at veganwellnessretreats.com, you can find us there as well. And
Awesome.
yeah, I mean, lastly, I'll probably just give a shout out to my wife. She manages both of those pages. If you get in contact over the phone, she'll be more than happy to go over all of your questions with you. Her name's Sarah, and she's done a really great job organizing this retreat as well.
Terrific. Okay. Well, yeah, everybody, I've linked the Instagram and Facebook pages in the description box as well. So it should all be there for you. And I put your guys' Gmail account if people want to email you questions. Yep. All right. Awesome. Well, again, thank you and Sarah for everything that you're doing. It is so important for people to experience these types of events and having it. I think Michigan is a great place because it's in the middle of the country, and people can easily or more easily get there than some other places. So I think that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's hop over into the Q&A room. Here we go.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everybody, again for being here. I have seen some questions popping in here and there, so I'll try and go back. But if you have any other questions, be sure to throw them in there, and we'll definitely get to them. So let's see here. Let's see. Maria says, what is your favorite raw vegan meal at the moment?
Favorite raw vegan meal? I would probably say nacho chips that are loaded. And what I mean by that is my wife will make the nacho chips. We have actually silicone molds that are in nacho chip shape.
Nice.
So she'll just basically spin up some corn and spices, put those in the mold. So those are your chips in the dehydrator. And then we'll do like a little taco meat in there. So we'll dehydrate some taco meat. And then usually she'll have like a jalapeno guac that'll go on top of that. So I really kind of do like a little bit of spice, especially like in the wintertime. A more hearty meal like that is
Me
nice.
too. Yeah.
To kind of offset the sweet flavors throughout the day. So that one would probably be at the minute my favorite. I really do like a good raw vegan burger as well.
Yeah.
But those would be the top two right there.
Amazing. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you guys eat really well over there. So it's definitely doesn't have to be a boring lifestyle like a lot of people think. There's so many options, and if you go to the retreat, you'll get to see just how some of that tastes. So all right. Judith says, where do you live? So I guess.
So we're in northern Michigan.
Nice.
Yep. Just probably about an hour from the venue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Michigan does extend pretty far up. There's an upper peninsula as well. We're kind of at the top of the lower peninsula.
Okay. Yeah.
Up there is probably about parallel with Matt. Matt might even be a little higher up than us.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we were talking before the show. I've never been to Michigan. Chase has never been to Minnesota, but I will say Minnesota is beautiful. But I actually have just recently, within the last like year or so, learned of like all the amazing fruits that grow in Michigan that don't grow here. Like you guys got peaches and
Oh yeah.
nectarines, I think, cherries, right? Like
Yeah.
all these
The
different.
cherry season's great. Yep.
Yeah, it's incredible. I didn't realize because here in Minnesota we get like apples, pears, and melons for fruits.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
grapes as well. We get Concord grapes, but
Yep.
just the additional variety that you guys get is pretty incredible.
Yeah. And I will say this about the weather too, where we're at during August. It's usually about 65 to 70 at night. So it'll be comfortable even if you're tent camping.
Okay.
And during the day, it's like in the low 80s as well. So it is pretty comfortable weather-wise in the August timeframe.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Looking forward to it. Like I said, Extropian Transhuman asks thoughts on using sea purslane as a salt alternative.
I mean, from the sounds of it, if it is sea purslane and it's not like an isolated salt, to me, if you're going for the bullseye, that sounds like it might be hitting it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never used it myself or seen it online, but that would be something that I'd be open to looking at. I think also on some of these, if you are going to use it as a substitute, you are going to want the taste to be pretty close. If it tastes gross, obviously you're probably not going to want to use it. So that would be one thing you might want to experiment with a little bit
Yeah.
to try and find that salt alternative, because if it tastes really, really like the ocean, you may not want to continue eating it. Just kind of depends on how your palate is.
Right.
I would.
Agreed. Agreed. Sherry says, I'm excited about the transcendental meditation teacher as well. So that's
Excellent.
awesome. Yep. Sherry, can't wait to see you there. Let's see here. Maria asks, what is your favorite fitness routine?
Favorite fitness routine? Well, I will say recently I started getting some cardio in. I had never really done cardio even when I was vegan, just kind of avoided it and always did the weights. But I've been hitting the treadmill and getting outside on the track. I don't know if it's because I've been raw vegan, but it just feels right. I don't know if you guys have ever seen some of these long distance runners that are raw, but there are a lot of them out there.
Yep.
And I do think it's important for heart health to include some of that cardiovascular fitness. So I've been doing that over the last 3 months or so and have seen some benefits. As far as weights go, though, I like to do kind of like a push-pull leg split. So push day would be like chest and triceps. Back day would be like back and biceps for the pull. And then for the legs, obviously that's like squats, those kind of exercises. But I'd say for the exercises where you can get a lot of the muscles moving, like the compound movements, that's probably going to be your best bet for like building that muscle mass. And I think this is something that we didn't really touch on, but I do like to track the muscle mass gains and that kind of stuff too. So we at a gym we went to, we used to go to, there was an in-body machine there, and that would show you everything, basically with no radiation. It'd be a device that would measure like your body hydration, your muscle mass, your body fat percentage, and it even show your visceral fat, which is like the fat around your internal organs.
Wow.
So I've had that measured. And on a raw diet, I've been able to show over a 10-pound increase in skeletal muscle mass on this machine, just by making sure I'm in just a slight calorie surplus and I'm hitting the weights. The most important thing for bone health, osteoporosis, and building muscle is hitting the weights. You're going to get the protein in when you're eating enough quantity of whole foods. You're not going to have to worry about the protein myth. Hey, where's the protein? You're going to get plenty of protein to build. That's my opinion. That's Doug Graham's opinion, who's still deadlifting 315 pounds at 73. So that's my basic routine there.
Nice. Love it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the workouts with Dr. Graham.
Yeah, we are going to have a deadlift competition this year again, Matt. We had that last year.
I saw that.
That was pretty exciting. We're going to have a male and a women's fleet as
Nice.
well. So yeah,
That's exciting.
definitely exciting.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll give it.
and that in-body machine that I just mentioned, that is going to be on site.
Oh
So
wow,
everybody will, when they arrive, we're going to have that machine right on site. They're going to get a free printout included with their ticket. And if they want to know a little bit more about it, we're going to have somebody right there that can help read it for them. That thing
amazing.
shows your phase angle, your body hydration, your body fat, your skeletal muscle mass, and that'll be right on site included. So that, maybe it'll just help to open up people to kind of see where they're at, give them a good baseline, a good initial thing into the retreat. So that'll be
That
an option.
that is incredible. I am pumped for that because
Oh, thanks.
I've never measured those sorts of things. So I'm
Yeah.
excited for that, and definitely excited for the deadlift competition. I will say I've really never done deadlifts, but I'm more than happy to give it a try. Maybe
I think you're going over 300 pounds, Matt.
ah all
That's
right,
worth it.
all right. I'm gonna try and prove you right. So
Also, for those singles out there, I didn't mention this earlier, there is going to be speed dating as well. So,
nice,
if you're looking for a kind of a compatible partner with similar interests, uh, we are going to have speed dating right on site, and there's going to be a whole night for that. So
amazing.
I might come and find love at the Raw Vegan Wellness retreat as well. So
Yes. What better place? I mean, that's the best place. A lot of people find, dating partners at the bars, which
exactly,
I wouldn't say is
this
the
is
best
going to
place.
a spot with good commonalities. Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Love it.
healthy choices.
Yep. Incredible. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything else? I don't see any other questions. I hope I didn't miss any, but at this point, I think we have 3 people in the contest for or the drawing for who have asked questions. Hopefully, I didn't miss anybody's questions. I think that's it. So, all right, that was amazing. Let's quick do the. I'm gonna pull in the wheel here with our contestants on there. So we've got Maria, Judith, and Extropian Transhuman, who have all entered questions today in the Q&A session. So thank you, you 3, and thank you everybody else for being a part of this and being here with us. So let's see. Tessa says, I still haven't claimed my prize from last week. Tessa, what's going on? Email me today if you have a chance, and we'll get you hooked up with your prize from last week. And yeah, so let's get the wheel spinning here. I don't think there's any last second questions, so I'm gonna click once I click the button, there's that's it. There's no asking any more questions. So here we go. Who is the winner of one of my ebooks? It's Judith. All right, Judith. I think you the last time you won. I think you might have all of my ebooks now. So you can just
a hot hand.
Yeah, I know. She's been on fire. So
Nice.
you can email me anyway, Judith, and we can figure something out. But thank you everybody for being here and asking your questions, and just being part of the community. And hopefully you will go to the vegan wellness retreat that Chase and his wife Sarah are putting on in northern Michigan. It's going to be an amazing time, as you guys have heard. So many activities, so many great speakers and educators, including Dr. Doug Graham, who's been doing this for 40 plus years. And it's going to be, I can already tell you, I mean, I can't guarantee anything, but I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be a life-changing experience for you, you're going to remember it for the rest of your life. I know that's been my experience going to similar events, but I've never been to an actual like raw vegan retreat type event. So it'll be one of my personal, life-changing experiences that I get to enjoy. So I look forward to doing that with you guys and Chase and Sarah and everybody else. So yeah, any last words, Chase, before we sign off?
I would just say we're looking forward to having you, Matt. And I can tell you're a great host. That's why you have lots of people watching your show, and we look forward to seeing hopefully everybody there. Like I said earlier, space is getting somewhat limited. We have had quite a big interest. But yeah, Matt will link everything in the show notes there. And thank you so much for having me on.
My pleasure. Truly great to meet you. And again, I can't wait to do it in person. And thank you, everybody, for being here again. Join us next Sunday, same time, same place. We'll have another episode for you. And until then, always follow your raw intuition.